Listen up, because for the next 10 seconds, I'm about to drop something that most people don't have the guts to say out loud. Your life isn't falling apart because the universe hates you, or because destiny is throwing curveballs at you. Half the storms in your life come from letting people with foolish mindsets get too close to your peace. And if you don't learn how to identify those behaviors early, they will drain your energy, hijack your emotions, and sabotage your growth without even trying. So today, we're breaking down 8 signs of a foolish mindset in women, not as judgment, not as hate, but as straight-up Stoic clarity. Because in Stoicism, understanding human behavior is the first step toward mastering your own life. Stoicism has always been brutal in its honesty, and it teaches that a person's character isn't measured by gender, looks, charm, or charisma. It's measured by mindset, the internal operating system that determines how someone thinks, reacts, grows, or destroys themselves. And if that operating system is corrupted by foolishness, insecurity, ego, or emotional chaos, then it doesn't matter how beautiful someone is, how educated they are, or how successful they look on Instagram. Their life will still be a burning dumpster fire behind the scenes. The first sign of a foolish mindset in a woman is emotional impulsiveness, that high-speed roller coaster reaction to everything. Every comment, every look, every inconvenience, every conversation. Because foolishness reacts first and thinks later, while wisdom thinks first and reacts never. And when a woman operates from impulsive emotion, she becomes a storm in human form, loud, unpredictable, exhausting, and impossible to reason with. And Stoicism teaches that anyone who can't control their emotions will be controlled by them, which is why impulsive women sabotage their own relationships, push away people who care, ruin good opportunities, and then sit there confused like life is unfair, when really it was just emotional chaos steering the wheel. And emotional impulsiveness is not just a reaction, it is a lifestyle, where anger becomes normal, chaos becomes familiar, and overthinking becomes the default setting. And the tragic part is that the more chaos they create, the more they blame others for the consequences they brought upon themselves. The second sign of a foolish mindset is chronic validation seeking, that non-stop hunger for attention, approval, compliments, likes, messages, reassurance, and external applause. Because a foolish mindset has a self-worth leak. Nothing stays inside, everything flows out the moment someone doesn't give them attention. And the Stoics warned us that if your confidence depends on the crowd will eventually destroy you. And a woman who lives off validation cannot survive in silence, cannot be alone, cannot sit with herself. And when a woman builds her identity on who notices her, she completely falls apart when no one does. And validation seeking becomes a drug. The more she gets, the more she needs. The more she needs, the more empty she feels. And foolishness makes her believe she can fill internal emptiness with external attention. But all she really does is lose herself trying to be seen. The third sign of a foolish mindset is drama addiction, because some people don't just experience chaos. They manufacture it, they breathe it, they thrive in it, they create problems that don't exist. They start fights just to feel important. They gossip like it's a sport. They hold grudges like trophies. And they turn their life into a season of reality TV. And Marcus Aurelius said, "The nearer a person is to wisdom, the nearer they are to calm." So when calmness irritates her, when peace bores her, when stability feels like punishment, you're not dealing with passion. You're dealing with foolishness, because a wise woman protects her peace as if her soul depends on it, while a foolish woman will burn her own peace just to feel entertained. And the wild part is that she'll blame everyone else for the fires she started. The fourth sign of a foolish mindset is entitlement, that belief that the world owes her attention, effort, kindness, loyalty, comfort, success, or praise, even when she has done absolutely nothing to earn it. And Stoicism teaches that nothing is owed, everything is earned. But an entitled woman demands everything while offering nothing. and she'll resent people for not giving what she never earned, which creates bitterness, envy, jealousy, and delusion. And the foolish mindset convinces her that she deserves the world. But the wise mindset focuses on becoming someone who can build one. And entitlement destroys gratitude, destroys humility, destroys growth. Because when you believe everything should be handed to you, you never develop the strength to build anything yourself. The fifth sign of a foolish mindset is lack of accountability. And this one is deadly because accountability is the foundation of growth. But a foolish woman will twist reality into origami before admitting she was wrong. She will lie, spin stories, shift blame, play victim, cry, deflect, and even rewrite history before she says the words, "It was my fault." And Epictetus said, "You cannot learn what you believe you already know." So if everything is always someone else's fault, if every argument is someone else's fault, if every breakup is someone else's fault, if every consequence is someone else's fault, then she blocks herself from wisdom, from maturity, from transformation. And a foolish mindset keeps her trapped in the same cycles, different people, different places, different problems, same behavior. Because without accountability, nothing changes, ever. The sixth sign of a foolish mindset is toxic loyalty to destructive environments, people, or habits. Because foolishness doesn't just tolerate pain, it becomes loyal to it, and instead of walking away from what destroys her, she stays, defends it, makes excuses for it, whether it's a guy who doesn't love her, a friend who envies her, a routine that destroys her, or a comfort zone that suffocates her. And Stoicism teaches that attachment without wisdom leads to suffering, but a foolish mindset confuses pain with passion, toxicity with loyalty, attention with love, and chaos with connection. And the more she clings to what drains her, the more blind she becomes to what could elevate her. And she will fight harder to protect her cage than to search for freedom. The seventh sign of a foolish mindset is living in illusions. Because foolishness loves fantasy more than truth. And you'll see it when she posts perfection online while breaking down offline. When she talks like a queen but behaves like chaos. When she quotes wisdom but lives in insecurity. Because foolishness hates self-reflection. It's too painful, too real, too raw. And the Stoics preached the opposite. Turn inward, examine your thoughts, sharpen your character, face your flaws. But a foolish mindset avoids introspection like it's poison. So she repeats the same mistakes with new people, new outfits, new places, new distractions. And every year looks different on the outside, but identical on the inside. Because nothing changes when you refuse to confront yourself. The eighth sign of a foolish mindset is resistance to growth. That "this is just who I am" mindset, as if the universe carved her personality in granite. And foolishness treats immaturity like identity, toxic habits like personality, emotional chaos like authenticity. But the Stoics taught that the strongest form of authenticity is self-mastery, not surrender to your weaknesses. And a foolish woman will reject advice, reject wisdom, reject discipline, reject growth. Because growth requires humility, and foolishness hates humility. And the tragedy is that she stays the same and wonders why her life doesn't change. But the truth is simple. Your life cannot evolve if your mindset refuses to. And as you look at these 8 signs, understand this clearly. This is not about judging women. This is about understanding the patterns that destroy peace, relationships, opportunities, and potential. Because foolishness is not feminine, it is universal. And the Stoics teach that the purpose of identifying foolishness in others is not to criticize them, but to protect yourself and improve yourself. Because the moment you spot these traits in someone, you have a choice. Stay and suffer, or step back and rise. And Stoicism teaches that you cannot save someone committed to their own chaos. You cannot fix someone who enjoys their own dysfunction. And you cannot force wisdom into someone who refuses to reflect. So take these 8 signs and let them be a map, not for judging others, but for navigating your life with clarity, Because when you can identify a foolish mindset early, you save yourself years of stress, arguments, heartbreak, and wasted potential. And wisdom isn't about fighting chaos. It's about refusing to entertain it. And the moment you choose to surround yourself with people who value accountability, emotional discipline, peace, maturity, and growth, your entire life levels up, not because the world got easier, but because your standards got higher. And the Stoic truth is simple. In a world full of foolish mindsets, your real power comes from choosing wisdom every single day.